Some years back, there was a student who was writing his UTME. He was so scared, very anxious in the exam hall, and in the process of answering the exam, when he had just barely started, he mistakenly clicked S to submit. And when he saw the prompt, the message that the computer brought up, are you sure you want to submit, or do you want to submit? Because of so much fear that has gripped him, so much crippling fear, instead of him to calm down, read the message properly and click the right place, he just clicked the wrong thing, clicked it multiple times, and he submitted even before he started. I heard the story, but I believe this is something that can actually happen, because I've seen people do ridiculous things, make ridiculous mistakes in exams because of fear. If you happen to be very scared for the exam that is coming, I just want you to take a deep breath, because in this video I'm going to be sharing some important tips you need to know that will help you manage or reduce the level of your fear. Okay, if you're new here, I'm currently a fourth year medical student of the University of Ibadan, and I make videos about medical school admission and personal development. It will make my day if you can please like this video and subscribe to the channel. So I think the first thing I need to say is that a minimal level of fear is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, fear can be a good thing. Fear can make you stick to instruction and make you do the right thing. But the fear I want us to overcome in this exam is the crippling, disastrous fear that will make you do ridiculous things, or that prevents you from doing your best. Examination is in two parts. First part is the whole preparation you did before the exam, which is studying, practicing, praying, and all of those things. The second part is how you actually do in the exam, or what you do while you are seated in the exam hall. Imagine someone that has studied very much all this while and get to the exam hall, and fear doesn't let you do your best, like use the knowledge you've acquired to the maximum. It could also be that you've not studied really hard, but you have some knowledge. Fear could also prevent one from using this little knowledge one has in the exam hall maximally. And everything I want to talk about in this video is how to actually get the best of your brain in your exam hall and prevent fear from actually crippling you or stopping you from doing your best. So I have 6 tips, and the first one is adequate preparation. There's a saying that goes, competence increases confidence, and that cannot be any truer. Is that the right word? That is absolutely true. The more you learn, the more you are competent in a particular area, the less scared you are going to be in being examined in that area. This is a common knowledge everyone knows, and I've been making a lot of videos. In fact, a bulk of my channel is on how to prepare adequately for the exam. So I'm not going to be going in depth talking about adequate preparation. So I'm going to link a playlist on the screen. You can go watch on how to prepare adequately for exam. I think it's needful to say that adequate preparation includes studying the right material, covering a significant part of the syllabus, and practicing a lot of past questions. That is how to gain competence when preparing for UTME. Regardless of how well or how little you've prepared, we know that crippling fear is something we want to avoid, and the next following tips are going to help you avoid this crippling fear and help you do your best in your exam with the knowledge you already have. Tip number 2 is to reduce exposure to things that reduce your confidence or increase your fear, especially when the exam is close. So you definitely know things that reduce your confidence, and you know things that increase your fear. There are some group of friends you're going to be with, and you're probably not going to learn anything from them, or there are some particular friends that you're going to be with. Instead of actually helping you learn, all they want to do is just to make you realize you don't know anything, or you do not know as much as they do. When your exam is closed, these kind of people are people you want to avoid. You know things yourself that are probably not usually helpful for you. The point is that by now you should know things that work for you and things that don't. So you want to, especially when your exam is closed, focus on the things that work for you and try to reduce or limit the things that don't work for you. But I think there should be a limit to this. It is normal to feel intimidated if you are studying with friends. It is normal to feel like, oh, you have not learned as much as your friends have. But if you know that that kind of communication, that kind of interaction actually help you learn 1 or 2 things, and it's genuinely making you better, I think it's worth it to stay with them despite knowing that you are not as good as them. Another thing that could probably be making you very fearful is when you practice past questions. Especially when your exam is close, you're practicing past questions and you're not doing very well on the past questions. You will just imagine, these past questions are similar to what I'm going to be asked in my exam, and if I'm flunking out, if I'm doing very poorly in this past question, have I not failed the exam like that? This is also one reason I know makes students very afraid, but the fact is that practicing past questions is very, very important as well, because it shows you how much you know or how much you don't know, and points in the direction where you should work harder on. But if you know very close to your exam, practicing some particular question is making you lose your confidence, I would say you should rather stop it and solve more recent years, because more recent years of past questions are actually easier than the older years. But the best thing is to just adopt a mindset that anytime you feel a question, it is an opportunity for you to learn something before your exam, so that if you happen to come across it in the exam, you're going to be able to answer it correctly. Which leads us to the next step, mindset shift. There's a lot of mind exercises that help increase your confidence in an exam, regardless of how well or how poorly you've studied. I tell myself this before every exam, even if I've studied very hard or I've not studied hard enough. If I studied very hard for the exam, I usually am more confident, and I'll go to the exam with the mindset that I've learned enough and I'm going to do this exam very well. On the other hand, some other times that I did not prepare very well for exam, I'll go with the mindset that I'm going to use the little knowledge I have and make the best of it. Number 4 is to simulate the exam environment and familiarize yourself with the exam conditions. That's why I usually encourage students to take mock exams, because when the task is novel, it tends to make us more scared. We are not sure of how it's going to be. We've not done it before, and we have no experience of what it's going to be like. So when you expose yourself to mock exam, you kind of are familiar with it. Or you don't even have to do mock exam. You can just imagine yourself in the exam or several times before the exam. That way you're somewhat familiar with the exam. Another thing is practicing the past question in exam conditions. I would say once in a while, try to practice past question in a condition similar to that of your real exam. Do it a couple of times before your exam. Try to do it under the same time condition as your exam and try to answer all the questions at the sitting. This will usually help you to familiarize yourself. Number 5 is that when you're in the exam hall, try to take deep controlled breaths when you are gripped by fear. It is a normal thing that as you're just about to start the exam and you are very scared at the beginning, but as the time goes by in the exam hall, the fear is going to reduce. Your brain is going to realize that, oh, it's not bad, there's no lion chasing me, there's no one shooting me, I'm not going to die, and it's going to calm down. But if you are at a point where you think fear is going to make you do something ridiculous, just take a pause, take deep breath, breathe in and breathe out. It has been shown that taking deep controlled breath actually reduces anxiety to a significant level, and it's something I would encourage you to do. However, like I always joke, don't do it so long that you slip off in the exam. Tip number 5 is to stay positive and pray. One thing I always do before my exam is that regardless of how much I've studied or how little I've studied, I'll tell myself that I've done the best I could with the current circumstance I was before the exam. There could be reasons, sometimes genuine reasons, why you will not be able to prepare adequately for an exam. But you see, despite this, I'm going to try my best to score as high as I could possibly score in this exam. And not just that, you also have to put everything into good ends. But you know that everything is not just about you. There's someone there for you. There's someone to help you. There's someone to back you up. Which is why I would always encourage you to pray in all conditions, in all situations. This video is quite rambling and chatty. I don't know how helpful it was, but if you found it helpful, please do me a favor by liking this video, subscribing, and sharing with someone you think might find it helpful. I'll see you very shortly, and I wish you the best. Bye bye.